And for me, I mean, football and this club and what it's given me over the past 6 to 8 months. I mean, it's been my medication, if you like, really, in terms of what it's given me. Whether that's playing every weekend, obviously not so much of late, which has been difficult, but just having that group of people that not just that are there just for your general chat, but I mean, there's a lot of the lads that I've had conversations with who I've only known for the last 5 or 6 months that I probably never had with people that I've known for 5 or 6 years. So it's yeah. I mean, the environment and the culture within the club and everything that it's about. I mean, it's for anyone really that's needing something or some want to kind of join up and help. I mean, it's massive. It's done absolutely tons for me, to be honest with you, which has then allowed me to build enough relevance of obviously my life as well, like work and relationships and this, that and the other. So yeah, couldn't say thank you enough to Billy and the rest of the club, to be honest, for what it's done for me.
Right then, today we're here with professional footballer Billy Whitehouse and inaugural member of Mind Over Matter, Scott Marshall.
I'm professional.
So we're going to start with you, Billy. Starting off your career at Doncaster Rovers when you were 10 years old, obviously Donny lad. What was that like, just quickly, at Doncaster Rovers?
Yeah, a bit surreal for me really, because I'd always had season tickets and stuff since I'd sort of been young. I've said this a few times on podcasts sort of things, but I remember getting the tickets through, I think we won something for my first game, so it was by chance I really started sort of watching Doncaster, and then just got obsessed with home and away and stuff like that, and then I sort of wanted to kick on my football, and then got the trial at Doncaster when I was 10, and then from there just went from strength to strength and ended up in the first team. It was pretty bizarre really, and probably the best times of my life.
Just still on Doncaster, obviously being a local lad, how does it feel to obviously you ended up making your debut for Doncaster Rovers? How does that feel, being a Doncaster lad and then obviously playing for Doncaster? Obviously didn't go to plan because you went to Leeds, we'll talk a bit about that in a minute, but how did that feel just quickly?
Yeah, again, surreal. I think from that point on, I remember it perfect, my debut. I think I played against Leeds in a reserve game the night before, and I wasn't expected to be in the team the day after, and then the manager just pulled me to one side at pre-match, because I remember he asked me to come along and just watch the game, and then I ended up being on the bench and made my debut, and then I think that season I made 13 appearances, so from then on it was sort of like, I felt like I belonged there, but I think it's more for your sort of family and friends sort of thing to see you playing for your local club. It's like crazy for them to come and watch and see you on the pitch, but it just sort of felt normal for me. I sort of felt like I belonged there.
Moving on to Leeds United, obviously a massive move to Leeds United. Just quickly, could you just talk about that just quickly? Obviously playing for a massive club like Leeds, I bet it were an honour.
Yeah, for me, again, I didn't really want to leave Doncaster at the time, but I remember having the conversation with one of the coaching staff at Doncaster, and he sort of said, you can't turn down Leeds United. And that sort of sank in at the time, and I thought, yeah, true. And yeah, I think that day onwards, when I'd signed for the club, it was like, again, I felt like I belonged there, but it was again surreal playing on BT that day, and everything what comes with being a Leeds United player, you sort of don't realise until you're there, everything off the pitch as well as on, and sponsorships and stuff like that, and just being in the media a lot, it's crazy really. I don't think people understand how much publicity there is being a footballer, especially at a big club like Leeds.
Moving on from Leeds, obviously leaving Leeds, you did say that you had enough of football and it was a difficult period of time within 6 months when you didn't have a club. Do you just want to quickly talk about them 6 months and how it affected you? Because it's obviously you were out of football a long time, 6 months is a long time. Just explain how you felt, especially in them 6 months when you were struggling.
I think it was probably the most difficult part of my life. I think it shaped me as a person, definitely made me start Mind Over Matter to a point. I think just in that time, it was just, I was 22, I'd been on trial at clubs and just nothing was coming off. And I think you get to a point where you're at a crossroads, whether you carry on and really try and kick on or you try and do something else. And for me at that time, it was like, wasn't getting anything, was no income, and I just thought, is there any point? And then sort of Tadcaster saved me, really, I think. And again, when I signed for Tadcaster, I didn't really want to play. I played for 6 months, probably not interested. And that summer, again, I think I was 22 that summer, didn't want to play then, and they convinced me to play for 6 months, said you'll get a move back into professional football if you play with us for 6 months. And I did so, but at that time I didn't really want to play at all. I just got fed up of it. I was looking at, other avenues for myself, and then it just all happened so quick, I think, in that year. But for that 6 month period, it was sort of torture, not playing any games, not training, and being on your own, really, and just living in the gym, and you're thinking, what's this all for?
It's a lonely time, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Massively lonely.
Yeah.
So just quickly on non-league, obviously it's hugely different to academy football, as you've probably known. Then the time that you had at Tadcaster, you had the likes of Cardiff and that sniffing round. How different were it to academy football, obviously playing at Doncaster, Leeds to the youth team, obviously Donny first team, Leeds first team? How different is it from non-league to academy football?
Yeah, I think when I was at Doncaster and these, I was more of a prospect than a senior. I think I was more of a senior when I went to Tadcaster, and I knew I was sort of the main player there, and I was more, they looked to me to win games and things like that, and I think that shaped me as a player now, to have that sort of, I've got the borderline sort of arrogance when you play, and I think Tadcaster did give me that in terms of what I think you need that to be a forward player, and it is completely different in terms of who you're coming up against, who you're playing against every week, pitches, and again it shaped me as a player, and I think it's given me that edge since I got back into professional football to sort of realise what I've had to go through, where I've been, and my mentality in itself in day-to-day life, I think.
It's a new breed of confidence, isn't it, I think, when you do, if you've got a lot of, 10 other players on pitch that are relying on you, it definitely gives you that confidence, that boost, don't you, really, as a player?
I live on stuff like that, I think. In general, in itself, with the charity, I think people come to me a lot and expect me to have all the answers, don't they? But again, it's the same with football and day-to-day life. I just feel that pressure is what I thrive on, I think. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have that edge on match days in training. I need that to keep me sort of going, really.
Just quickly, before we get on to the charity, where you are now, New Saints in Wales, how's that different to obviously playing in England? I bet it's a lot different, isn't it? Obviously you're travelling 2 hours a day, travelling 2 hours back for the charity and stuff, so how different is it playing in Wales? Does it affect you, maybe the journeys here and there, or?
The journeys, I think I've got used to now. I think the biggest thing about being in Wales, especially at the New Saints, is everyone sort of wants you to lose because they're the champions every year. So it's a different kind of pressure where everyone wants you to. So once you've sort of hit that top level, everyone wants you to drop.
Team to beat, aren't they, really?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, but again, that I think you can only live with that pressure if you've got that borderline arrogance, sort of confidence to cope with that. Some players don't like that, but again, if you're going to sign for a big club, and TNS is a big club in a sort of small pond as such, but it's about mentality again. Everything comes back to the same things. Are you relentless? Mentality's got to be spot on, and I think it's the same thing as being a football league player. But TNS is sort of your Manchester City's in the Welsh sort of system. So.
On to the charity now. This is the bit that obviously everyone wants to hear, I'm guessing. So why did you start the charity? Just quickly, just a brief.
It was just by chance, really. I mean, I'd always wanted to do some sort of charity game in the local area. My cousin's someone who struggles a lot with the mental health, who's in a home, so he's a big inspiration for me, especially in that period when I didn't have a club. I think he was someone I looked to a lot, and someone who gave me that real inspiration to carry on doing what I was doing. To see him struggle, I thought, how can I sort of complain about my life when he's having that day-to-day struggle? Yeah, and then we went to the charity game, went from there, and then we sort of just grew from strength to strength again. And I think if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, would we be in now, I'd have said no. I think we'd have just been in every year sort of annual charity game, and then I think the reaction we did get from the game was why we carried on doing what we're doing, and we've got people like this giving me a headache every time now, you know.
You love it.
Do you want to explain a bit about yourself, Scott, and obviously joining the charity itself and how it's helped you, would you say, physically and mentally, and just talk a bit about obviously yourself joining, how it's helped you, Scott?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I to be honest, it was purely by accident. If I'm honest, I ended up joining on or even knowing about Mind Over Matter. I mean, Levi Oldfield just asked me to come down for pretty much just a kickabout on a weekend about I think it was June, about June, July. So yeah, towards the end of summer last year. Introduced me to Billy and, you know, everyone down there, Ryan, and yeah, just I think sometimes when you join a new team or a new club or, you know, anything really that's new, when there's new people, it can be a little bit obviously nerve-wracking, but sometimes you just know when it's a good set of lads, when it's a, you know, good set of people, you just gel instant, and to be honest, it's a bit more than just. I think we say it quite a lot. It's a bit more than just say a Sunday League team. It's a, you know, it's a massive club. It's a massive you know, institution really, which we're, you know, trying to grow. And to be honest, I pretty much only joined just to, you know, a love for football and love for the game, and just, you know, try and get back to playing after a bit of an injury that I've been nursing. But, you know, over time, conversations that me and Billy have had, and Ryan, and, you know, everyone there, it's all of a sudden now I feel like I've become part of this, you know, thing which is just seems to be getting bigger and bigger. And I think part of that, to be honest with you, is probably because of my own mental health struggles in the past, which, to be honest, I'm not shy about talking about, and, you know, as people know me will know, and that's I think that's why, to be honest, I love it so much as well, because it's something that's quite close to my heart, mental health and also football as well, so it's a bit of a double whammy for me, to be honest, so it was absolute no-brainer. So yeah, I think that's why, pretty much, to be honest, for the last 8 months I've pretty much lived and breathed it, and I can't really see it being any different any time in the future, to be fair. Yeah. So yeah.
Would you say that's why you're still obviously you're becoming more of an, like, obviously, Billy, as you said, the charity's growing every day, and obviously you can't do everything yourself. So do you want to explain a bit about the people involved? Obviously you've been doing your lockdown Zooms and helping out with workouts and just keeping people busy during lockdown. You can't do this all yourself, so could you explain a bit about the people involved in the charity?
So there's 3 founders, myself, Bev Jones and Ryan Matthews. Ryan sort of deals with everything in the background, the sort of stuff online, would you say?
Yeah.
And Bev deals with a lot of stuff, sort of we do the frame of mind walks, we do the Zumba, yoga, she deals with all that side, but as the 3 we all work together collectively. It was sort of Ryan's idea at first to do the men's Sunday team, which obviously now is a big part of both of us.
Yeah, lives. Huge, yeah.
Yeah, so I think everything as well with the men's team, we tried to grow it through bringing people in who could also help within the charity. So we've got a volunteer scheme, we've got people who sort us grant funding, stuff sort like that out. We've got the big man here who deals with a lot of stuff online for us, does a LinkedIn account and stuff like that. So
yeah, I think we're trying to get a lot of the players involved in kind of, like you say, involved in kind of helping out. Like, I know, you know, I mean, Cody, he's skipper for the actual team, but I mean, you know, he tends to get quite involved, obviously, in kind of running the you know, like the Zoom fitness classes, like with Joe Farmer and stuff like that as well. So everyone kind of works as a team to kind of keep it running in times where, say, you're at training or something like that. So it's a really, yeah, obviously, I mean, you know, everyone's got the full-time jobs and stuff, so we've got to try and, you know, make things link in with it. But everyone, you know, we try to bring, like you say, we try and bring people in that kind of contribute towards the club and the charity, and not just, you know, turn up on a Sunday to play football, which is, you know, it kind of helps a lot towards the growth of it, really. So it's yeah, it's massive, to be honest.
Just quickly, Billy, what are your goals and aims for the business? Because it's obviously, not business, charity, sorry.
Yeah.
Because it's growing so fast as well, and you've done so well so far. You just carry on going as it is and carry on growing now.
Yeah, I think you're right in saying it is a business as well in itself. I think you have to treat it like that to some aspects, I suppose. I think, you know, I want to be worldwide. I don't know, it sounds sort of silly saying that now, but that's where I believe we will end up being. I think with the people we've got involved, the potential we have in the next 5 to 10 years to have everything we want, I think there's no reason why I wouldn't be there. And for me personally, I'm all in or nothing, and that's how I sort of live my life. So, you know, if I didn't believe in it, then I'd stop it. So, you know, and the people, you know, we don't just recruit easily. You know, we check people's not backgrounds as such, but we wouldn't bring anyone into the charity if it wasn't where we could see them having that longevity with us. Like Scott and the lads he's mentioned, and other people who are involved on the other side, not just the football. I think would be a huge point, and I think will be as big as mine realistically.
So obviously, with it being a mental health charity, I bet you've come over a huge obstacle in COVID. So how has that affected the charity, would you say? Because obviously you can't do your Sunday league team and you're having to go a bit more virtual. So how has that affected the charity, would you say, Billy? And obviously your mental health as well, because it is a mental health charity.
I think there's been ups and downs with it. I think we've thrived on some aspects where we've really been able to do the social media side of it to get more people involved in like virtual classes and stuff. With the men's team, we do a lot of fitness classes personally, and then we do the thing where we do the runs, count how many runs you've done and add it on the group chat. And I think it's just being out there, and a big thing I've noticed is not everyone has to reply or like or do something on social media, but if we keep the content active, then people are seeing that, and I think sort of have to be selfless with that instead of thinking, this post has not got that much engagement, but people are seeing it. And I think the main thing for us through COVID has just been trying to sort of be adaptable to people's needs. I think that's the biggest thing we've had to deal with, but again, we've had so many good people come forward in the last 18 months. It's been a big help in general to get the charity still sort of flowing, and I think we've made big steps even with COVID.
Obviously, Scott, you were mentioning about your obviously struggles with mental health and stuff. How would you say you can see how the club helps people that struggle with mental health, and how would you say it's helped you build your mental health? And obviously
it's I mean I couldn't even express enough, to be honest with you. I think there's a few ways really you can deal with obviously your own struggles, and for me, I mean football and this club and what it's given me over the past 6 to 8 months, I mean it's been my medication, if you like, really, in terms of what it's given me. Whether that's playing every weekend, obviously not so much of late, which has been difficult, but just having that group of people that not just that are there just for your general chat, but I mean there's a lot of the lads that I've had conversations with who I've only known for the last 5 or 6 months that I've probably never had with people that I've known for 5 or 6 years, so it's I mean the environment and the culture within the club and everything that it's about. I mean it's for anyone really that's needing something or some want to kind of join up and help. I mean it's massive. It's done absolutely tons for me, to be honest with you, which has then allowed me to build enough relevance of obviously my life as well, like work and relationships and this, that and the other. So couldn't say thank you enough to to Billy and the rest of the club, to be honest, for what it's done for me, 100%.
Obviously hearing that, Billy, I bet it must make you think, obviously you founded this, I bet that makes you feel really good, because obviously it's something you created, really, so.
And I always say, especially in the men's team, we're trying to build a culture, not just a football side. We want to build something where people are involved with us and it's infectious for them, to be here and be with us as long and as much as they can. We don't just want them to turn up in training or on a Sunday and just play. And I always say, if we had 11 Scott Marshalls out on the pitch, I'd be happy on and off the pitch. And I've said that to you before, and that's what we're trying to bring people who, like I say, it's in medication, and just be involved. Scott was sort of quiet when he first came in, and now he's probably one of the loudest in the dressing room. And that's what we want to bring. We want to bring people to sort of prosper in their lives, not just play on a Sunday. So it's so refreshing to hear from me personally to feel that as well, because that was the original plan when we set out to do the men's team and in the charity itself.
I know, Scott, I think you were saying to me that obviously in the football side of it, you wanted to build and maybe go into Saturday football, were it?
Yeah.
So obviously, how would you go about that? Is there a lot of stuff that you've got to do on the business side of it, Billy? Or because obviously that's a huge thing in it, going into football pyramid. So how would you go about that?
I've envisioned it for a while, to be honest. I think it's something which I probably know like the back of my hand in terms of football. It's something I know about, and with people like Scott and the others involved, it sort of makes my job easier. But Scott knows me, what I'm like on a midweek, even if it's a Sunday, everything's sorted already. And we probably run it like a Saturday team already, don't we?
Do you know what? Honestly, I've never ever been part of and I've been a part of a fair few Sunday sides, and I've never ever been part of a Sunday side which trains twice or 3 times a week, no joke, on Astro every week religiously, and then I'll probably say, oh, should we have a kickabout and a bit of a session on Saturday, and then have a game on Sunday? I've never known such, like, and it's religious, like, and everyone does it not because they have to, because obviously we don't get paid to do it. It's just purely for just the absolute love of the game and the sport. So it's like, when we say that it's not just a Sunday league team where this element, and we want to move into Saturdays, the foundations of the Saturday side for me, I know it's already there in terms of the training, the facilities we've got, and the expectations of where how many times we need to be training, after work, putting in the work, like kind of before work by yourself, and this, that, and the other. It's the foundations are really already there, and beyond anything I've ever known for a Sunday league side. Honestly, it's ridiculous. So to be honest with you, Saturdays I'm quite confident that.
Yeah, I think again the things how we look at it is all or nothing. I think. And it sounds ruthless for it to be a men's mental health football team, but if you're not going to be all in, it's sort of like, well, we can only help you so much. So you're either in 100% or you're not, and that's how we sort of look at the league, the squad, and we have a blueprint for where we want to be. That's not just for the Saturday team, that's for the Sunday one, of the best Sunday team around here. Yeah. I mean, you tell me a Sunday team who gets Juventus' tactics in the group chat, so... Yeah, that's how far it is. Again, like I said before, my dad's the manager, but we have that relationship as well where when it gets to a certain point, I'll have to let him go. And it sounds silly saying that, but he's still growing in terms of what we want to achieve with it. We want to be the best Sunday league side around here.
Good luck getting rid of him, by the way.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the hardest part of running the charity so far, Billy? Because obviously there must be a lot of hurdles that you've had to get over. So what would you say the hardest part of obviously building the charity has been so far?
Everyone thinks you know the answers to everything. No, I think it's a 24-hour job, to be honest with you. I think everything we do, we run so many projects and activities and events. It's like juggling that with being a footballer and then also trying to do everything, especially for the lads. I mean, the amount of times I put things in the chat, the amount of times I put in the volunteers chat, and I think it's not, oh, I'm doing these certain hours, it is literally a 24-hour job where you've got to be there for people's needs, in terms of funding, long-term future, everything we want, it comes gradually. People ask me all the time, where do I expect it to be, and I answered that already, but I want a hub where it's something like Google or such, where everyone works at the same place, there's a gym on site, so it is a well-being sort of place. And again, the blueprint's there, but I think for me the biggest hurdle is probably walk before you can run, because if I could have everything now I would, but I also know that you've got to enjoy the process of it. So I'd say that's it, yeah.
Do you have any more job roles for Scott?
I've already given him 5.
Yeah. So what roles would you say that you're starting to do now then, Scott? Because now you're starting to come in.
Well, to be fair, I suppose at the moment we're trying to shape things out. You're trying to shape things as to how you want things to kind of move on. Obviously, I've got my own career as well. Don't my boss watching this and thinking that I'm going to dish you. So I've got my own career which I've got to kind of pursue obviously on the side, and then just like Billy has obviously with his playing and doing this obviously in his free time, that's pretty much what I've got to try and do as well. So for myself, I think we're going to try and get obviously a lot of the social media done, which to be fair, I've already started kind of planning a few things at the moment, just kind of on the sideline. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. To be honest with you, I think I want to try and be as heavily involved with the teams in terms of the football teams as well, kind of moving forward, Saturdays, Sundays, and wherever that ends up going in future. So yeah, it's whatever comes with it. I think like you say, there's no kind of set, you must do this, you must do that, and you do that forever. I think that's it. I think just like a game of football, we're a team, and if you've got to move into a different position to make formation work, that's what it is. And
I think we've got a core group, haven't we, in terms of on and off the pitch. I think again, going back to starting the men's team, because it is a big pull for us in terms of bringing a lot of males forward for us. I think it's sort of infectious in it for the lads to. And again, we don't just want players to turn up and expect us to play on a Sunday and then not be involved whatsoever. I think the big thing for us is be involved and also be involved in the community and what we're doing. And that goes into the Saturdays for the young players. We've got a lot of young players who are quite promising.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%.
They come to me for advice a lot on football, obviously because of my background and stuff. But I also do feel the way the modern world is, I suppose, is, you know, players' well-beings have got to be there as well, the well-being of the player and the mental health of the player, because I know a lot of these young lads who are trying to strive to do Saturday stuff and play on Saturdays, but if we've got that platform for them, but also to be involved in the community, I feel like the gratitude's there more for their own life moving forward, and if they do get into the professional game, great. If they don't, they're playing at a good level on a Saturday, but they're also involved in everything what goes on in the community, and I think we've sort of got to that stage now. If you know, if we fast forward in 18 months' time, we'll probably advance so much more than a lot of others in terms of doing local things in the community activities. You know, we're planning a charity ball, we've got a football tournament, charity football match, fancy dress parties, anything to sort of get people out and about, so it's quite flexible in what we're doing, not just the same sort of things for the same sort of characters, really.
I think that's another thing that we're quite excited about as well, because I know like we spoke about just then a few questions back, just about where we've kind of probably struggled a little bit with lockdown and everything like that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that obviously we want to do, kind of like with the community and like general public and stuff like, and even just with the lads as well, where we're playing football together. It's quite hard to build relationships with lads that only met each other 6 months ago, when they can't even really meet each other and you know, spend time with each other. So I mean, we're really self-critical, I think, for a team that's just set up. I mean, we're honestly, if we don't, we've already said if we don't get promoted this season, we'll be devastated. So, but that's the standards that we set in, even with the challenges that we're facing for a team that's in the first season at the start. I mean, still really early days. I mean, you know, where we want to go, we've got places where we want to be that we're nowhere near where we are at the moment. But you've got to start somewhere. But it's, but yeah, hopefully once the lockdown lifts, we can start to gel things and do stuff like you say with community and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just sign of times, I guess. See how things unlock.
Just a personal one for you, Scott. Obviously, with how long have you been at the club now? Just quickly.
I think it were probably August, September.
August. You signed for the start of the season.
Yeah, August last year. So so 7 or 8 months, something like that.
Obviously, having COVID, having the lockdowns, would like say you've been in lockdown all the time. Has that made you feel how much you love the charity and how much you love football now, just because of being locked away and not being able to play and.
Definitely, I think. Do you know what? To be honest, if it wasn't for the feeling like I had a responsibility to keep, even just like stay fit for the team and stuff. I mean,
most
you know,
committed Sunday league play I've ever come across.
Oh, but I love it.
Like a professional.
Yeah, but do you know what? Like, I think a lot of people look at the graph that I put in kind of outside hours and probably say, oh, he works hard, but I don't, to be honest. In terms of the football, I love it that much that I genuinely, it's not a minute's work for me, because I just genuinely do it for the love of it. And to be honest with you, like with the charity now, that's kind of probably helped me personally for everything through lockdown. It's given me that push to make sure that I'm staying fit at the moment, like, because I knew that the season might be restarting at the end of this month. Like, I'm dieting, like literally doing everything, to be honest with you, that I probably would be doing if I were getting paid to do it, just because it's just given me that kind of drive, and that's something to focus my mind on. And to be honest, if it weren't for the charity or the football club, I don't know if I'd be that focused, to be honest, in doing something. I don't know what I'd be doing, whether I'd just be sat eating and watching telly, or you know, you don't know, do you?
I think as well, people look at mental health in such a different aspect to a lot. I think because we're a mental health men's team, again going back to that, it's like people think it's a lot of lads who've really struggled, but sometimes it necessarily isn't, is it?
No.
It's people who just want to be involved and want to help people, and I think the main thing is, especially when we talk about standards for it, I think again it's like people think we should do alright, but we'll just turn up on a Sunday. I think you got to look at mental health from the other side of it again, like where thrive on that and grow as a person and be relentless with it. I think, you know, some people think, oh, they'll just be a bottom team and they'll just want to play on a Sunday, but we're sort of much more than that on the outside. So I think, and again the standards is within the charity as well. With me, Beth and Ryan, I think it's not a day where the group chat with us three is not pinging off with 5-6 ideas a day. So it's like, you know, we're all itching just to get out of COVID just to try and do these things, because I'm trying to sort of say to the boys, aren't I, that, you know, you've not really seen anything yet. So you're sort of blown away once, you know, we get out and the sort of things and the people we've got connections with now.
Have you got any plans to move into any other sports, Billy? I know you've got the football and other things. Have you got any plans to move into other
We've
sports?
just set up the over 35s for the men's, so that's one project what Jason's taking care of. Hopefully I don't have to jump on that because I ain't got that much spare time. We'd like to do tennis, we'd like to sort of do cricket. Again, I'm not massively, I'm not clued up on these, but if someone wants to take them, we have these initial discussions. But yeah, obviously the frame of mind, the running club we've already got coming this year. So we've got a boxing club, what's happening, that's already set up, ready to go post-COVID. We've had the funding through for that. So I think Saturday mornings is just going to be with our
Just quickly, Scott, I just want to know what it means to you personally to be part of it, and where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Would you say, like, in the business? Do you want to be taking some of Billy's roles up, or where do you see yourself 5 years' time in the charity?
Probably knocking Billy off a ball, I reckon, when I'm playing against a pro.
You don't like playing against me, do you?
My ankles can't take it, mate. You wait till I'm fully fit. No, it's do you know what? I mean, I think we've all got such high expectations of it all, and I don't know. That's the beauty of it. I think, you know, it could go anywhere in any way. So I'm not sat kind of saying, oh, you know, I'd love to be, you know, here and here and doing this particular role in it, or, you know, it really could take us down any avenue, and I think that's the beauty of it. Is I know from my point of view, I haven't got a clue where it could, you know, how big it could end up, or, you know, what I could end up doing with it. And that's what's so exciting about it. The fact that there isn't really, for myself anyway, I've not really set much of a plan. To be honest with you, what I'd absolutely love is to probably get as many coaching badges as I can, and then hope that, you know, Saturday and Sunday team, every Saturday and Sunday to coach, you know, I don't know how long my fitness will probably stay for, to be fair. I'm hoping for the next 5 or 6 years ideally, but after that then hopefully be able to, you know, coach the Saturdays and the Sunday sides. And, you know, me personally, I'd love to build that side of it. That'd be, you know, for me, that's just what I love doing. So yeah, that's probably my avenue, I reckon, that I'd love to go down and
sign a contract now, or?
Yeah, get it done, get it out. Yeah, not cheap, like. But.
On to you, Billy. How much does it mean to you, would you say, the charity?
Well, it's part of my everyday life now. I think it's become normal, if that sounds right. I think if it wasn't there now, my life wouldn't be where it is. I think it's helped me grow as a person, just because knowing I have to sort of be at the front of everything. I think if it's an interview, if it's dealing with people, I think sort of, I'd be right in saying a lot of people do come to me for everything, and sometimes it's a nightmare because my phone rings. I bet it rings 20 times a day. Yeah, so to manage that, I think, well, I love it. It's, you know, and it's something I'll go into when I retire from football. It'll be my full-time job, because I think at that stage we will be at that point to employ people. So yeah, I love it, and again, I want to build so much with it. I think we're going to look at doing a college scheme on ourselves and try and build that up in terms of building mental health in schools as well. I think that's something we're interested in doing. Yeah. So the sky's the sort of limit with it, and for me it's my everyday job as well as being a footballer now. I think most afternoons I'm sat on my laptop when I'm finished training and just dealing with stuff. I must get 50 emails a day, just dealing with other things, and I think even if I want to get out, I'm too far deep in now, but no, I love it. I love it.
Scott, best moment of being a part of the charity so far?
Best moment?
Be careful again. You're a big fan of the kits, aren't you? He likes his kits.
Yeah, I do, to be honest. I think, do you know what, actually, it's rather than a big moment that's happened so far, I think a soon-to-be moment, hopefully. Obviously my career that I do myself is Willow leasing, which is, I mean, to be fair, I've been doing that a couple of years now, which that's growing as well. And to be fair, I mentioned to Billy already, you know, they're possibly having a look at sponsoring, you know, like I say, some kits for the team, which, to be honest with you, to have that opportunity to mix that side of my life with a career to that social side in the charity, that'd be amazing. And I think we've already spoke about that's possibly something that we're planning on getting done. So for me, I'd say that is probably the biggest thing so far that means the most to me. For even you know, you could even say that it's happened, or you know, it's due to happen soon. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest moment for me so far, 100%.
Have you got a certain moment, Billy? Would you say that's the proudest moment, or is it just setting it up in general?
I always say, ask me in 10 years if anybody asks me that, because I feel like I'm always chasing that ask me in 10 years sort of thing, where we're at. I don't think I'll ever have a favourite moment. I just sort of feel that, you know, there's no end game to it, it's always the longevity of it. So for me, I mean, going back to the first charity game, which really kicked it off, was probably an enjoyable moment. But I just feel like there's so much to look forward to. So, and I'm never satisfied, am I? No. I mean, let's be honest, you probably never get a smile out of me throughout the week, because I'm just so sort of tunnel vision with it all. So yeah, ask me in 10 years.
Brilliant. So thanks Billy, thanks Scott. The stuff you're doing over at Mind for Matter is absolutely brilliant, and I wish you all the best with all of it and your career.
Thank you, mate.
Itself, Billy.
Cheers, mate.